Hello everyone, in this video I would like to critique psychotherapeutic treatment of patient Anna O, with real name Bertha Pappenheim by Joseph Breuer and Sigmund Freud according to current psychotherapeutic standards. A case study of Anna O is considered as a foundational case study in psychoanalysis, described in a written work named Studies of Hysteria. Joseph Breuer and Sigmund Freud documented course of treatment of a patient suffering from hysteria, which is by their definition a mental disorder where traumatic experiences with a strong affective charge are being repressed into unconscious part of the psyche. These experiences are then being converted to physical or psychological symptoms, because the conscious mind is unable to comprehend and integrate these contents. In this video, I would like to question some of the aspects of the treatment described in the case study. The catharsis method, which Anna O referred to as the talking cue or chimney sweeping, involves reliving and reprocessing repressed distressing traumatic experiences under hypnosis that she experienced as a child. The method is questionable, not least because there is a risk that the patient could have been unconsciously influenced by the therapist's expectations and thoughts while in a highly suggestive state of consciousness. There is a significant risk that Anna O could have been re-traumatized, meaning the effect was not helpful but rather harmful. Studies show that reliving traumatic experiences without a therapeutic structure can even exacerbate symptoms. This means that it's possible that the symptoms, the worsening of her condition, could also have been due to the method itself. The effectiveness and efficacy of hypnosis are questionable even to this day. They are mixed inconclusive according to the scientific standards. The other point I would like to address is the problematic diagnosis of hysteria, which Anna O was diagnosed with. At the time when Anna O was treated, Sigmund Freud and Joseph Breuer developed the diagnosis of hysteria, a catch-all term that by today's standards is non-specific, sometimes sexist, and lacks clinical precision. In Anna's O case, hysteria encompassed motor paralysis, speech disorders such as aphasia, dissociative states, delusions, hallucinations, and other symptoms. The question remains, to what extent served the diagnosis apply to the patient, or to what extent did the diagnosis serve to the theory developed by Joseph Breuer and Sigmund Freud? It's important to consider that this confirmation bias could have occurred during the diagnosis. There are several other aspects that could be problematic when considering the treatment of Anna O, such as the possibility of sexual intercourse with the patient, given that Anna O famously told Breuer at the end of the therapy that she was pregnant with their child, after which Breuer allegedly fled. The fact that the case was published in 1895 in the Studies on Hysteria is also questionable because Anna O's identity was supposedly well known to some people at the time, meaning one of the basic principles of patient's anonymity was violated. Once she was cured, as Sigmund Freud and Joseph Breuer stated in the report, she suffered from relapses and was hospitalized in sanatoriums until 1887. Joseph Breuer started to treat her in 1880. Historians believe that she developed morphine dependency allegedly introduced during the treatment. As I now know, Bertha Pappenheim was very successful in her own career after her treatment. She fought for women's emancipation. She addressed the problem of trafficking of Jewish women and prostitution, organizing conferences and giving lectures on the subject. She published the results of her work in the volume Sisyphus Labors. I started to think and question occurred in my mind. To what extent did the difficulties before her treatment, like the worsening health of her sick father, who she was so devotedly attached to, later on his fatal death from tuberculosis, and the presence of other factors contributed to the deterioration of her condition? To which degree was she really suffering from hysteria? Was she perhaps framed by the doctors who were treating her, the psychiatric environment, and the theory of hysteria that Freud and Breuer had in mind when they treated her? Adao's voice was largely absent from the published case history. She herself even rejected psychoanalysis years after her treatment. It's very subjective, I know, and highly speculative. The fact is that the case study is part of the history of psychotherapy, interpreted in various ways. Whether the treatment was criticized or praised partly stays a mystery. What is the truth? The totality of perspective which we unfortunately cannot access. Some are wrong, nonetheless. It's important to say that these statements are speculative and unconfirmed. The data that preserved from the time could be inaccurate, and it's important to realize that we were not present during her treatment. This is all for this video, and I thank you very much for listening.